Hey y'all, it is April the 17th, I believe, 2018, and y'all, I wanted to shoot this quick video. I had to be very brief, as brief as possible, because I had to go into work pretty dang soon. I actually shot this video last night, and the audio didn't record, and it's very lengthy. It's about 18 minutes, but we're going to see how fast we could do it right now, all right? Because I think this is a very crucial, important message. I think this is even more crucial than usual to share with y'all today. I think a lot of people could benefit from it. I believe a lot of people will not understand it. In fact, I believe that most people on earth will either A, not understand it, or B, not accept it at all. And that's just fine. But I wanted to share this with a few of y'all out there who I believe is going to benefit from it greatly. And that is the idea that all of the problems that you have in your life, all the shortcomings, all the times in which, you feel like you've been done wrong, I want to share with y'all that I believe, personally, that is your fault. It's your fault. That's your fault. All right? I believe that, all the bad things that I have experienced and all the things that I wish were a different way, but they're not, that is because of me. That is my doing. That's my fault. Right? And before we, discuss that concept a little bit further, I do want to mention, and I feel like it's very well obvious, that, if you follow my channel for whatever reason, I don't know why you do it, but if you do, you probably understand about myself that there's things out there that I don't like, that I just do not endorse, and the list goes on, to include pedophilia. I don't accept that. I'm completely intolerant of it. I don't believe that a prepubescent child can even have consensual relations. I don't believe that is even possible. All sort of stuff. Like, I don't believe in rape. I think rape is terrible, and I don't care who it is or who you are. I think that's terrible. Violence. I don't endorse violence. I don't think there's any need for it except in self-defense, in which case I believe that you should have the right to shoot somebody right in the face. If they come in and they try to threaten you and your life, or threaten the lives of people around you, I believe that you have the privilege, and even more so the responsibility, to probably shoot them in the face. All right? And I think the world would be a better place if you did so. There's all sorts of things that I don't like, can happen to people. Genocide and all this. I don't care what color you are. It never dawns on me, oh man, but this person, this color and that color. Don't care about colors. All right. Bad things I don't like. All right. But yeah, and still I want to dive into the concept that, if you're experiencing things that are displeasing to you and to your life, and you feel like things are bringing you down, what I gotta let you consider, what I have to suggest for you right now, is that you are the causation for it. You are the engineer of that. You are the arbiter of your own misery. All right, and I am the arbiter of mine. All right. Just give you an example, like a personal example. A lot of people will look at my situation. I haven't been able to see my daughter for years now. Years. And people will say, for example, they'll jump to the conclusion and say, well, your ex-wife is acting completely all messed up. All right. And to which I would disagree. I don't know what my wife is, or ex-wife is thinking. I don't know. And it's not for me to know. She has her own life to deal with. All right. The reason that I can't see my daughter is because of me. And I'm going to give you an example. A lot of people would wonder, well, what did you do? What did you do? Well, if you were to ask me, in my personal opinion, from what I've seen, especially from what I read in the Bible, and this concept that I'm discussing with you is actually directly from the Bible. It's not from my own head at all. All right. What I did wrong is that I did not marry my wife. I did marry her, but it was after the fact. I had a baby and then I married her, and that was actually terribly wrong. A lot of people would say, well, that's your choice. Yeah, it was my choice, and I messed up. That's not, there's no one to blame except for myself. Right? The Bible will state clearly that, there's a formula. There's a formula that should follow. There's a particular order in which you should do things, a sequence in which you should do things. You shouldn't even have relations until you are married. And then after you are married, then you can decide to have babies. And then you can give them exactly what they need in the order in which they need it. I did not do this. And this, among other things, led to me being estranged from my daughter. It was my fault. It was my causation. To give an example, a lot of people think that I might be victim blaming. Not necessarily. The thing is, you could be a victim at any moment in time. For example, if you're getting raped, in that moment that you're getting raped, I don't believe that you should go to jail for it, or I don't even believe the raper should go to jail for it. I think that they should be put in the ground immediately as soon as found out that they did it. Put them straight in the ground, and don't even think about waiting. Don't even think about it. All right, they should go directly in the ground. They don't need to be here. All right. While at that particular moment, it is an injustice. It's ungodly. It's godless, but however, the next day, or the day after, the weeks after, the months after, the years after, if you yourself, if you allow that to define you, that particular incident, that moment in time, if you allow that to define you, what I'm suggesting for you right now is that you are, in fact, raping yourself. And a lot of people don't like it. They're not going to agree with it. I believe if that you have relations outside of marriage, what you're doing is you're raping yourself. What you're doing is abusing your future children. All right, and I know that's extremely harsh. So be it. So be it. I've experienced these things. I've done these things myself, and never got me anywhere. And that's why I'm sharing this with you. You are the causation of all your problems, and it stems from your poor decisions. I want to put out another example because it's most prevalent, in which people have shortcomings and things like that, and problems in their life and obstacles. Just real briefly, that actually, in a sense, it comes from your parents. I mean, your biological parents. I want to stress that your blood is actually extremely important. You're extremely important. You're like a precious snowflake that cannot be duplicated. And your blood actually can read out like a story. It comes from your parents. You might not like your parents. You might think your parents are monsters. And maybe they are in many senses. All right? Maybe they are. But more to the point, they are children of God. And they have fallen, and they did not understand their ways. They let anger blind them to reality and things of this nature. It's unfortunate, but however, you're not in charge of your parents. You can turn what you have, you can turn it around. You can start making good decisions. However, it's going to be hard to do so if you ignore your parents, if you try to pretend like they're not important. In a sense, pretending like your own biological parents aren't important is like basically admitting that you're not important. It's basically telling God that, well, what he's done here is not important. And it is. You're extremely important and crucial. All right, you're crucial to the fabric of human society, and you need to know that. You need to know that your parents are very crucial. You need to know that God put you here for a purpose. All right. In the end, like I was mentioning, you are the arbiter of your own problems. So a lot of people are going to have different difficulties that they need to get through, and I think that it's important that they do. I think that they are wasting their time completely by blaming other people, which they'll tend to do. This person did this to me. Oh, that person did this. This person did that, and that defines me. Yeah, it does define you, and actually blinds you with hatred and anger in your heart. And you might be outwardly like a very nice person and things of this nature, and that's good. But inside of you, you have problems and obstacles that you're trying to deal with, you're trying to get over, and you can't get over them. You're not going to get over them until you forgive every last person around you. All right? Because every last person around you does not define you. Your definition comes from within you. Right? And when you could turn around and know that you've made bad decisions, know that you've made poor decisions, know that you looked in the face of God and said, "Ops, I'm going to do it some other way," and then you failed miserably. When you can recognize this and humble yourself, just like I had to remind myself every day to humble myself and know that I'm not in charge of my own life, then I can turn around and start making better decisions. Without hatred in my heart, without anger for somebody else, and realize, you know what, I have a purpose, and guess what, I'm in charge of this. At the end of the day, I make that decision of whether or not to make good or bad choices. Right? It is up to me, and there is no one else to blame. I can look all day, I can look for the rest of my life. There is nobody else to blame but myself. And this is a concept that a lot of people, they're just never ever going to accept. In fact, most people on earth, the great majority of people, never ever will accept it. And those very people are going to be scrambling and searching for the entirety of their lives for peace and success and happiness, all of which is going to be fleeting for them. They will always be reaching. And that's terrible. It does not make me feel good to say that. However, that seems to be the case. You, right now, you have the option of turning that around, blaming nobody but yourself. All right? And you're going to find that when you blame nobody but yourself, and you look towards God and say, you know what, you're in charge now. You're in charge, and I want you to make me make better decisions. You're going to experience a whole world of peace and success, and it does not matter your financial status. It doesn't matter whether or not you're in jail or not in jail, or nothing really matters. You understand? If you consider a person who is free in their mind, who's literally in a prison, all right? Think of person A, free in their mind and in their spirit and in their conscience, and knows that it's better to make good decisions than poor decisions. That person's in prison right now. Now think of someone who's outside of prison, and they're under bondage. They're enslaved by their hatred and their anger for somebody else, by blaming somebody else. Even though they're outside of prison, their life is so much more miserable because they don't even know how to make good decisions. They don't know. They just make poor decision after poor decision after poor decision. And what it does is that's a cause to an effect. The effect is bad things happening in their lives. The effect is never ever having peace. Always struggling to find it, using different drugs, this and that drug. Everything's a drug. Using this and that drug to give them happiness is only fleeting, and that's terrible. And anyways, I gotta get to work. I'll holler at y'all later. Thank you for experiencing the sunrise with me. I appreciate y'all out there. It's April the 17th, I think, 2018, and I'll holler at y'all a bit later.